Welcome back to the Sane Asylum, my dear patients. I have good news. I finally found a job. It's a part-time job. I wanted to make this video because I don't know what to do. I'm 24 years old. I haven't had a job in 5 years. I had one part-time job when I was in college. I did that for 2 months. The job that I have now is 16 hours a week. I even have my schedule right here. You could probably look at it. The one thing that I'm afraid of is having a job with my health conditions, because tomorrow is my first day at work. I'm super nervous. I have empty stomach syndrome and reactive hypoglycemia. With that said, for some reason with my conditions, I have also developed anxiety with it. What I mean by this is, even when I go grocery shopping, I could feel my heart race. I could feel my face getting red. Like, just for as an example, 2 days ago I was talking with my advisor, not my boss, but I was talking with her advisor or assistant, just educating me on what to expect on my first day at work and what to expect on, just work in general. And it was on Zoom. And then about 5 minutes into the meeting, I started having heart palpitations, and with that, I had to turn my camera off for about 3 minutes. And in the background, I was trying to compose myself. And then I turned back my camera on. And then she was like, "Oh, why'd you turn the camera off?" And I just said it was a glitch, when she probably knew it wasn't a fucking glitch. I'm excited that I have this job. Really, I am, so that my parents will stop begging me, yelling at me, "Oh, when are you gonna get a job?" you know. My parents, especially my father, he'll be like, "Oh, instead of taking your morning poop in the morning, you should be applying for a job. Instead of taking a piss in the morning, you can take that 5 minutes and apply for a damn job." Like, he's that type of person. I am also scared to go to work because I fear that when I do come home, my dogs are gonna be gone. My parents have raised concerns that they don't want my dogs anymore. And I fear that when I do leave for work, I'll come home and it'll just be a shock to me that they're gone. The job is a hybrid job. Some days I work from home. Mondays are without a doubt my work from days home. And then Thursday, Friday, and Sundays, especially Sundays. Sundays are always going to be a work from home day, so I don't have to worry about that. And then Thursday and Fridays are, I have to work in person. Like, if I have to go, then I have to go. My boss tells me that you should always be prepared on those days, but most likely I'll be working from home. Or it's a bit of both, which kind of sucks, because you would think, because I live 30 minutes away. And my boss even told me that there will be times where you go to work for literally an hour and come straight home and do your work later on in the day. What a waste of gas. Mondays are gonna be tough for me just because of my health conditions. I have to eat every 2 to 3 hours, and I get so self-conscious in my head of, will I have time to eat? Is it okay if I eat while I work? Do they think that I'm weird? What kind of foods am I gonna take? Or do they have a refrigerator? How far is the refrigerator? Because I can't walk for long periods of time. I have developed anxiety, like, to the point where it's not even funny. I should probably speak to a doctor, with it. But I can't, because you need money to go to the freaking doctor. And so I'm watching all these YouTube videos on how to, compose yourself if you do have an anxiety attack. And they say you should do the five sentences of, what color do you see? What do you smell? I tried that. That made it worse. Because when I have my anxiety attack, I don't want to move. Like, the thought of moving my head and looking around makes me have even more anxiety because I have to think about what I'm seeing. What really helps is staying still and just breathing in and out, but even then that doesn't work. But the five senses does not work at all. It actually makes it even worse for me. My video quality will probably have to go down a bit. One of my symptoms that I have with my conditions is that when I get headaches, I get a lot of headaches throughout the day because of my empty sella syndrome. I'll have headaches, but they're in my eyeballs. Most of my headaches are in the front. And with that, since this is a remote job and my job is to basically, look at emails all day, the last thing I want to do is come home and edit, videos for 4 hours at a time. I'll definitely have to fix up my schedule, which I will do. I work at a music label called, I'm not gonna say it on the internet, but I work for a music label, and and no, it's not what you think. It's just it's a small record label. It's just based in around the community. My job is sort of a admin assistant / marketing assistant. One of the reasons why I got the job was because the CEO was impressed with the fact that I have experience with editing videos. And then I told them that the videos that I edit are not, like Netflix level, but they looked at my videos and saw that the videos that they were looking for, because their videos are not that highly edited. Anyway. They were looking for someone that could relate to the clientele because a lot of their clients are small creators, small content creators. And they told me that I could relate to that because I also make music of my own. One of my biggest fears too is my speech impediment when I do go in person. When I get nervous, my speech impediment amplifies. I begin to stutter and pronounce words incorrectly. I don't want that. I don't want people to make fun of me because of that. And then too, with my health conditions, am I gonna pass out? Or if there's a meeting and I have to stand up for 30 minutes, I can't do that. That scares me. And two, tomorrow is my in-person day. I never been to the building before. The building's big. So the thing with the company, I almost said the name, that they don't have their own building. They rent an office with other companies, if that kind of makes sense. I looked at the building online. It looks like it's a apartment complex. Like, it literally looks like an apartment complex, and each room has its own company, because it's just a small business supporting local musicians around the local area. And so tomorrow I'm just in my head of, oh, do they have elevators, or how far do I have to walk, and how far is parking? All of it. I'm having a job with health conditions, especially health conditions where you have low blood sugar, don't have a lot of energy, is horrible. When I do work at home, I'll be more comfortable because, again, my anxiety won't be through the roof. And two, with my anxiety symptoms, sometimes they overlap with my low blood sugar, because when you have anxiety, your blood pressure goes up and down, your blood sugar goes up and down. And so sometimes when I do have an anxiety attack, they almost mimic the same effects of me having low blood sugar, and that just makes me have more anxiety, because I'm in my head saying, do I have low blood sugar, or is my heart racing just because I'm nervous? For example, I was at the DMV 3 months ago to get a new driver's license. I was around so many people that my heart just started pounding, and I had a almond butter and blueberry sandwich in my pocket. I always carry food with me just in case. And my father told me you can't eat in the DMV. And I always carry also water with me. And my dad's like, just drink water and you'll be fine. So I took a sip of water. I took my breaths just in and out. And it went away. I started seeing black spots in my vision. And then I was just, okay, I'll drink my water. And that's it. Because then also too, before I went to the DMV, before I stepped foot in the building, when I was in the car, I took a bite of my little sandwich. I took a bite and then I went into the building, because I know that when I do get nervous, my blood sugar and blood pressure goes up and down just ahead of time. So I always come prepared right now. And it's crazy that, yeah, I almost passed out at the DMV. I don't know if I would have passed out, but it felt like I could have, because my heart was pounding. I couldn't control it. I could feel my body sweating, and my face got really red. I could feel my face getting red. You know when you blush, or when you look at someone, or when your crush is next to you, your face gets really red. That's how I felt. And then after I got my driver's license, after I talked to the person, like, okay, here's my birth certificate, I'm a US citizen. They took my picture, and as I walked out of the building, I felt 10 pounds lighter. Even when I go grocery shopping, you know, I have heart palpitations, and then after it's done, oh, I can breathe. Every time, like 2 days ago, again, when I had that meeting with my boss's, you know, assistant, during the meeting, I was just in my head, like, I was kind of just like, don't pass out. And I felt so weak. And then after the meeting was over, I quickly, you know, clicked off. And then my symptoms, it just went away. It's the craziest thing. And I don't want to be that fool. I don't want to be that fool at work of like, okay, wait, I need to go to the bathroom for 5 minutes because I'm having I'm stuttering because I'm having anxiety. In the real world, people are not going to be understanding. You know, this isn't preschool. People are not going to hold your hand. They don't care that you have health conditions. Sometimes I feel like too I have POTS, but that's undiagnosed. I haven't been to the doctor in 3 years just because of financial reasons, which I understand. My parents don't wanna pay the medical bills, which makes sense. I already know what's wrong with me. But when I do get more financially stable, I am going to go back to the doctor and take a table tilt test to diagnose myself with POTS, because sometimes I feel like I do have POTS, just because when I stand up too quick, I feel like I'm gonna faint, and that's the symptoms of POTS. But also, I have reactive hypoglycemia, empty sella syndrome, and anxiety, and I have also sinus tachycardia, which mimics the same symptoms as POTS. So. But also, my hands and my feet are not blue, so that's I don't have POTS, because people who have POTS, their hands and feet blue. Oh, purple. I finally have a job, and why does it feel like I'm not winning in life? I have struggled to find a job for ever since I graduated college. I finally got one, and why does it feel like it's bad news? I mean, it's 16 hours a week, you know? And one of those weeks is just in person, and all the rest I get to stay home. Well, Thursdays and Fridays are kind of iffy, but Sundays are definitely a work from home. It's only 4 days a week. Worst case scenario, I go in person 3 times a week. Worst case scenario. But why am I so nervous about it? It's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., so 4 hours. If I didn't have dogs, if I didn't have my 2 dogs, I would have probably still not have found a job. Both of my dogs live outside. I mean, they have a house and stuff, but they're not allowed in the house just because of my parents. The thought of them, because the thing with the deal with my parents is that I can have dogs, but they have to live outside, and if I'm not outside, they have to be in their house. And so the thought of them being in their house for 6 hours, especially on Mondays, it'd probably just be maybe like once a week, especially on Mondays. But even then, it just is so, because they don't, I'm not asking them to help me. I'm not asking them to, let them out to go pee. Because I have to leave at 12 because I'm about 30 minutes away. And tomorrow's my first day and I don't want to be late. But even then, even if I leave at 12:15, I have to put them up at around 12 just so I can be ready to go. And then if you do the time, if work ends at 5 and then I drive home, that's around about 5:30, 5:45 for me coming home. And that's about 5.5 to 6 hours of them being in their house. Everything I do is for my dogs. I really wonder how many more days, how many more months will it take for me to become financially stable to the point where I could move out and I could finally live inside the house with my dogs. I really wonder, because they need a backyard. I could probably get an apartment. Not right now. Not right now. Definitely not now. Definitely not when I have this job, because it's only a part-time job. Definitely not now. I have to find a house. They need a yard. I don't want my dogs to feel like they're in prison, because what's the difference? They have a backyard now, but they're in their house when I'm not outside. They're in their house right now. And then the same thing with the apartment. Yeah, they're not going to be in their house, but they won't have a yard to play in. So what's the difference? And two, with this job, it's only temporary. It's only three months. They even estimated it may be 4 months. So I'm just thinking, I have to apply for another job in 3 months. Why does it feel like I haven't won yet? Why does it feel like it's bad news that I have a job? And two, when I got the good news that I got the job, my father didn't even say congratulations. It was, oh, when are you going to get a real job and move out? When are you going to to get rid of those dogs. I wasn't expecting, a party or anything, but I was just expecting, good job. I didn't even get that. I'm just very scared of when I do leave for work. And then while I'm at work, I get other things to worry about. Oh my God, am I going to pass out? How am I going to eat food? Are my dogs okay? Are they barking? Do they need to pee again? And then I have to think about, oh my God, am I going to come home and they're just gone? Living with parents like that, and that's probably one of the reasons why I have probably anxiety. It just makes it worse. Because even when I'm at work, I have to worry about my dogs. Like, are they okay? Are they gone? Because they even said that he'll just say, you'll never know. One day, I'll just do it. He said that one day you'll come home and you won't even know what hit you. That's what they said. My father said. Yeah. I'm nothing without my dogs. I wouldn't have applied for this job if it wasn't for my dogs, because I have nothing else to live for. I'm getting this job so that I could help my dogs live a better life, and then also go to the vet, because even though that they live outside, they haven't got their shots yet, and it's about time. It's been it's been about 2 years since they had their shots. And my father told me that he's done paying for dog food, he's done paying for shots. Which kind of makes sense, because, my dogs are my responsibility, but it's also like he's the one that picked out my dog. It's a long story. Like when I got my dog Scooby, he's the one that picked him out and brought him home and gave it to me as a gift. But yet he doesn't like the dog. Like, why'd you? And then now I am attached to my dog Scooby, and he wants to take him away. And then why'd you bring him home in the first place? Like, well, I don't understand. But I can't give them away because I'm attached, especially with Candy. Candy is a lot older. I got her when I was, I think, 13. She's almost 17 years old. And so I have to save up so I could go to the vet and make sure they have all their shots. And then too, I fear because I have my dog Scooby, he's half pit bull. And in the state of Washington, pit bulls, you have to have insurance for your pets. They're required to have insurance. So I'm just scared that one day someone's gonna knock on my door and ask me, do I have proof that, Scooby has insurance? So that's one thing in the back of my head that I need to be prepared for. Because my friend, my mom's friend, she had a dog, and her dog died because it got bit by a mosquito. And I fear that's going to happen with Scooby, especially because they live outside. And I'm just really terrified too, because it's a part-time job. It's not a lot of money. Vets are really expensive, so I'm just thinking, how much money will I save? Will I spend it all on the freaking vet, or what? I already had a plan. Every month I'm gonna do a 80-20 rule, where I save 80% and then I spend 20%. Obviously, probably when I get my first paycheck, all of that has to maybe go to the vet. I don't know how much that is. I probably have to look around. It's probably at least $1,000 to $2,000. I don't know. But I already had a plan. I'm gonna save 80% and spend 20% if I can. You know, I have to save more just so in the future I have more. And I am lucky because I don't have to pay rent, I don't have to pay groceries, I live with my parents, blah, blah, blah. But it's still in the back of my head, you know, that I have to be prepared for my future, you know. I still have to save up money, and I do want to buy things for myself. Like I need new underwear. All of my underwear has holes in them. It's embarrassing. My bra has literally a hole in it. And my jackets, they have holes in it because my dog Scooby bites them. And then I want to buy a GoPro camera so that I can film first POV videos. I love those type of videos. But my dogs come first, you know. Buying a new camera isn't life or death. I'm not gonna die without it. I'm not gonna die wearing underwear that has holes in them. Because they told me that anything that belongs to me, anything that I want, I have to pay for my own, which makes sense, which I understand. But the thing with not going to the vet is kind of crazy to me. But one day my parents are gonna be proud of me. One day I'm gonna show them. One day I'm gonna make 3 times as much money. 4 times, 5 times. I always tell them that, and they always laugh at me like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen. YouTube is not gonna work out. It's gonna work out. I just need more time." Everything I do is for my dogs. As long as I have my dogs with me, and then I can keep going. Maybe that could help me with my anxiety. Maybe I when I go to work in person, I just think about my dogs. The funny thing is when I take pictures, everyone says that I don't smile in pictures. Like for instance, when my mom took my college graduation picture, I didn't smile. And my mom's like, "Why are you sad?" And I said, "Well, there's nothing to smile about. Yeah, I got a degree." And my mom's like, "But smile." And I was like, my mom told me, "Wait, you don't know how to smile?" And I said, "No." Then my mom just said, "Well, you always smile when you play with your dogs. Maybe think about your dogs." And I'm like, you know, I love my dogs. Literally, when people take my pictures at family gatherings, I'm like, I don't know how to smile. Like, I don't know how to fake smile. And then I'm like, okay, I know that I am aware that I smile weird. I am aware that I don't know how to smile. But when I think about my dogs, this is a genuine smile. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to smile, but when I think of my dog, yeah. This video is freaking ridiculous. I mean, this is embarrassing. This video is embarrassing. If you have any advice for me in the comments below as to how to control my anxiety, please let me know. No matter how insane you may be, there is always someone out there to complete the insanity. Hi, handsome. Okay. Candy's eating her dinner. Look at that butt. Candy. She's sweet. Very sweet. I'm gonna be a look at this. This is so impeccable. Look at this. You got orange. I love both of my dogs. Be my Valentine. Candy? She's like, bitch. Will you be my Valentine? I know you will. So handsome. So handsome. So handsome. Who's so handsome?